Somebody who's got a whole new rate that is making headlines everywhere, and we didn't talk about it last week because when we recorded, it hadn't happened yet. But last week, Mandy Rose dropped her title
Yeah,
on NXT, and it
yeah.
came out that she was released because she chose not to take down her fan site, which maybe had some risque content that wasn't in line with the WWE's vision. And as the story goes, her first 7 days outside of the company, she made over $500,000 on that fan site. My goodness, she's the highest paid performer in the wrestling space the last 7 days. That's a real sentence. Are you
Mm.
surprised that Mandy Rose is no longer with the company? Do you think she will even tinker with wrestling again? Or, man, if you were her, would you just keep making that money?
Well, this is I haven't had a chance to ask anybody this because I haven't obviously asked Megan. She probably doesn't watch it. What is she doing on this thing that they didn't like?
Nudity.
Complete nudity.
Well, I don't know about complete nudity. I haven't subscribed. But yes, she's shown her bare breasts and she's shown her bare bottom. And I think that, yeah, there were some things in there that maybe shouldn't have been according to WWE's morality clause in their contracts and what have you. And as the story goes, Matt Bloom, the former A-Train, who's sort of a bigwig mover and shaker down at NXT, gave the heads up to Shawn Michaels, who I guess then told corporate, and they had a conversation, and Mandy Rose made a different decision. And a lot of folks
Mm.
are saying, hey, good for her, man. $500,000 in a week. Who needs wrestling?
Well, I don't know what kind of money she was making with the company. I personally, I only know Mandy a little bit. I really like her,
Yes.
and I thought her work had gotten really a lot better at NXT because she got more opportunity.
Yes.
And I expect her to be back up on the main roster. So only she can make that decision. Is she married is she still dating that football player or married to him?
I think they're engaged. I'm not sure that they're
Yeah.
married.
He's a nice kid too, but only they can make that decision. If I was her, I'd rather be on TV
Right.
because that stuff gets old, and then sometimes you can't come back from that kind of stuff. The more of it you do, so
Well,
I'm not giving anybody advice on how to run their life, but
no, of course not.
I myself would rather be on TV. And if she was, improving like she had been, and God, she looks like $1 million, um, and she can get a great paycheck, I'd rather be wrestling. But I mean, that would certainly be my choice for my daughter or my wife or whatever.
Let me ask you this. Once upon a time, the WWE used to arrange the promotion and then help promote it themselves to have their quote unquote divas appear in Playboy, whether
Yes.
it was Sable or Tori Wilson or China or Maria Kanellis or on and Ashley Mazzaro, on and on. Lots of WWE divas were on the cover of Playboy and then cross promoted all throughout WWE programming. And I
Yeah.
realize that this is a more PG era, but it feels as if, hey, that I could see how an outsider would say, so it's okay if WWE's getting a payday. It's not okay if only I do. I could see where there's an argument there. What say you?
Well, I can't remember. I'm trying to figure out when did WWE go public?
2000. So, I mean, they did all this Playboy stuff. A lot of this Playboy stuff happened after.
Okay, after. Okay, so that wasn't the reason why. I don't know. I mean, I know they went very PG for a while, not even PG-13. Um, I think that I think the strategy is that they're going to do what their advertisers, which obviously generate the revenue that makes them exist, aside from the tremendous value of their production. I think they dictate the market. So if someone was paying them a lot of money, didn't like it, one person can probably change that whole thought process around. I'm sure that Sean didn't like having to fire her. I mean, that's not the kind
No.
of guy. I'm sure Sean didn't like walk up and say, "Hey, Mandy, you're out of here."
Right.
That had to be a hard job for him to do. But Sean's got a job to do too. So everybody answers to somebody
That's
except
right.
you.
Well, whatever that means. I think the last time a WWE person appeared in Playboy was Maria, and I think that was 2008. So it does feel as if, the company went more PG in recent years, but I don't know, man. And I hear you when you said I would rather be on TV, but I do know that, for instance, if she wanted to still work in wrestling, somebody would put her to work right away. It might not fit within the confines of WWE. And I don't know what
No, no.
Tony's stance
Yeah,
is,
but
but
yeah, but here's my. I've got to be very careful. I say this. If you've been at the if you've been at the height, so like Sasha doesn't have to prove anything to anybody, right? She can do what she wants to. She's been the top star or a top star, arguably one of the 2 or 3 best ever, right? So Sasha has nothing left to prove. If it's in your mind that you want to be a top star in the WWE, which is the mecca right now as we stand, we love AEW, but
yes, yes,
we're talking about 2 different situations, entirely different. One's an empire, one's a promotion. So if your goal is to be the very best at what you do with the biggest, most powerful company, not the XFL, CFL, NFL, not Ring of Honor, not AEW, WWE, then I would choose WWE over that short span of whatever you're going to do. Because, yeah, you can go somewhere else, but if your goal was to be on the top tier, which is the WWE, then that goal is going to disappear. I'd rather because she's young enough. I don't think she's even what is she, 30 years old?
yeah. Let me look at that. As we're
It doesn't
looking for
matter.
that, I want
I would have gone as far as I could with WWE. Then she could do that later on.
32 years old. And the rumor and innuendo is that Mattel, who make the action figures for WWE, maybe they had a problem. I mean, I could see how marketing
Yeah, well,
gets to
that's a big company.
I get that.
Yeah, but do you see what I'm saying?
Oh, there you see. There's the subscription, MandyRoseSacks.com. And yeah, she's got her own little fan site here and making some money. Good for her, man. Here's what I know. I
Yeah.
know that if I approached Ric Flair and say, oh, I don't know, early 1998, and I said, Rick, you can make $500,000 a week just showing off Space Mountain. Shit, you'd been doing it for free for years. You'd have said, sign me up.
Wow, that is assuming a lot.
Well, I'm just saying, damn, Eric Bischoff. Eric Bischoff, who? I can make money over here. I mean, really, when you look at it from Mandy Rose standpoint, if you had the grueling grind of taking bumps and travel and all this that existed before she was with NXT and just a traditional main roster superstar, or you can just sit at home and make $500,000 a week, that's pretty hard to beat. I could see why that would lure someone away.
Yeah, but can't tell you something. Sitting home isn't all that's cracked up to be.
Oh yeah, you got a rough life.
I can't stand sitting home. I love working.
Oh, I know that.
And I don't know that I would, if I've said, I don't know what she wanted to do or what her aspirations truly were, but if they were to be on top at WWE, I would say chase that goal. This might be my advice. Pursue that goal, because you'll know shortly whether you're ever going to get there.
Right.
If they bring you back up and they give you a push and you don't make it this time, then go do what you want to do.
Right.
But if they were going to bring her back up, because she has improved, in my opinion, a lot, and she obviously looks great, that would be my choice. But I'm not thinking for her. I don't manage her. And she and her husband have a decision to make, or her boyfriend. They're both great people. So, and either way, it look like they can make a lot of money.
Either way, they're going to be fine. And to your point, she was the NXT Women's Champion for more than a year.
Yeah.
So she certainly accomplished a lot.
And got a lot of PR. I mean, you heard her name all the time.
Yes.
Yeah. So if she was, really getting over with the public, I don't know. I guess I don't know how many followers she has on social media, but she must have a large contingency of male followers now with this new gig she's got going on.
I'm sure that's, that her social media was the printing press.
Thank God I have no technical skills.